The Moto Guzzi V85 Strada, everyone. This is the 2024 model, which has very kindly been loaned out to me by Versys Motorcycles here in Gloucestershire. If you're looking to buy any new or used motorcycles, definitely go and check them out if you live here in the UK. They've got plenty of stock available and loads of demos, just like this bike here, available for you to test ride right now. So if you could check them out, I'd really appreciate it. And when you do, don't forget to say hello from me. Now you guys, I've been riding this bike for nearly a couple of hours and we've got some comparisons to do. Recently we rode the Suzuki vStrom 800RE. This is directly competing with that motorcycle, so let's see how it stacks up. If you've seen any of our other videos on this bike, you guys, we've got our ride review video, which should be out already. And we've also done a video kind of like trying to explain why this bike is so good. I mean, when you see it like wanting to come off its kickstand like that, it just has so much character, this bike, so much charm. It's a really good bike, but if you've seen any of those other videos, then you probably understand already how positively I feel about this bike, and I also felt very positively about the vStrom as well. Do a little bit of off-roading, why not? This bike is an adventure bike after all. Well, adventure tourer. So this is going to be quite a difficult video because both of these bikes are very, very good in their own way. Let's start by talking about the vStrom, because that was a very positive riding experience, and if you want an adventure tourer, kind of like midweight adventure tourer, and the vStrom is that's got to be one of the best at the moment. That bike is coming in, I believe, around about 9 grand, if I remember correctly, 9,000 pounds, which is quite a lot of bike for the money. You get the full color TFT display. This is the 2025 bike, by the way. I think you get adjustable suspension. You can adjust the rear ABS sensitivity as well on that bike. Power output is pretty damn good. I mean, obviously it's got the same engine as the GSX 8R, which is by no means a slouch, and it's certainly a quicker bike than this. The vStrom 800 is certainly a quicker bike than this, I have no doubt whatsoever. The 0 to 60s, I believe, if I remember off the top of my head, are about 4 seconds or so, between 3.5 to 4 seconds. This, you're probably looking at more 5 seconds. So one is certainly much quicker than the other. So performance wise, I think it's a no contest. The 800RE, the vStrom, it just takes the cake here. And even when you look at the Versys 650, now strictly speaking, I haven't ridden the Versys 650. I've ridden the Z650 and the Ninja 650. They all ride almost the same as one another. The Versys is just a little bit different in the sense that it will sit a little bit taller. And I've also ridden the Vulcan 650S as well. Again, same engine from Kawasaki, same performance, same everything. That is a fantastic motorcycle in its own right as well. It's very cheap. I think you can pick them up for 6,000 to 7,000 pounds, maybe even a little bit less than that on a promotion. Just an amazing motorcycle. And I mean, to some people it might seem a little bit boring because Kawasaki have been making that engine for such a long time now. My first big bike was the ER6, which it's the same bike. It's just been branded slightly differently now, but it's the same bike as the Ninja 650 is today. So I understand why some people might feel a little bit like it's a bit boring, but the engine is really something. It's got so much punch to it. Yes, it drops off in the higher RPMs, but it's got a lovely amount of torque and sustained torque as well, and horsepower. And it could compete in terms of 0 to 60s. The Versys could certainly compete with the likes of the 800RE, the GSX 8R, and certainly this. I believe that the Versys 650 will actually be a quicker bike than this in a straight line 0 to 60. All right. Now all of that, it sounds quite damning towards this bike, doesn't it? But you know what? I think I would take this over the others. Genuinely. As I mentioned before, if you've seen our other videos on this bike, then you probably have a rough idea why I would pick this over the vStrom, specifically the 800RE and the Versys 650. Now, I haven't ridden the Touareg. I hope to in the near future, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, so you don't miss that. It might already be out as well, so I don't know, we'll see. But we'll see how that compares to this. But that's using the same 660 parallel twin from Aprilia, I believe, the same one as the RS 660 and the Tuono. But again, this goes back to the charm and the character of this motorcycle. Oh, that looks like a badger. There's something about this motorcycle, as I mentioned in an earlier video, the je ne sais quoi. There's something about this motorcycle that makes it not just fun, but it puts a smile on your soul. You know, it's not a superficial smile. This thing really pulls at your heartstrings, at least for me it does anyway. It really clicks with me. The same happened with the V7 Sport as well from Moto Guzzi. They are just special bikes and a lot of fun. They're really good. Yes, they're lacking in performance, right? There's an air-cooled, longitudinally mounted V-twin. It's not going to have the same performance. It doesn't have the same RPM limit as the Versys or the vStrom. So it is lacking in performance. But what it's lacking in performance, it more than makes up for in riding experience and the way how it makes you feel, you guys. This is genuinely one of those bikes that I would buy today if I had the budget. And I never really felt that way about the vStrom. I never really felt that way about the Versys 650. And I'm not really an adventure bike guy. I don't particularly enjoy riding adventure bikes, but this is different. Like I said, this is special. Like 0-60 wise, I mean, you're looking at, I don't know, 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds or so, something like that. You've got to go through the gears to get up to 60 mile an hour. I think on the vStrom and on the Versys 650, I believe you can get up to 60 in second gear, I believe. It might be third gear on the Versys, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly. But yeah, you're going to have to shift through some gears. Usually, I prefer bikes that will get up to at least 60 mile an hour in first gear, because then you know you're getting the maximum acceleration possible to get up to highway speeds, which for me is quite important for practical uses, but also it makes the motorcycle fun. Riding it in a straight line and things like that, that's where you're going to get the most fun out of a motorcycle every day. Yeah, sure, leaning it over in the twisties is also fun as well, but to experience the performance of a bike, it's that straight line 0-60 quarter mile that is arguably the most important when it comes to performance fun factor. Okay? Which is another reason why it is very surprising that this bike isn't. It's not fast in a straight line at all. It's my Honda Civic Type R is probably faster in terms of 0-60 than this bike is. Which, yeah, it's saying something, because for a hot hatch, it's quite a slow hot hatch. I think the 0-60 is about 6.5 seconds. I don't think it's 6.5 seconds, to be fair. I'm just making that comparison because the Civic, for me, it feels quick getting up to the 0-60, whereas this bike doesn't. It doesn't really feel that quick. It's got the torque behind it, which gives you that thrust kind of hold on to your seat experience, but it's not that quick. The thing is, with most motorcycles, even ones that are torquey, they'll have a little bit of horsepower at the top end of the RPMs, This bike doesn't really have that. Not really. It's a sustained build-up power. You get immediate torque, but you don't get a lot of horsepower. Not really. At least not a lot of horsepower that you feel anyway. But it doesn't matter. This is an adventure tourer. That doesn't matter. You know what I mean? The torque is arguably way more important, especially for street riding, than horsepower. But when it comes to fun factor, it's missing that horsepower that I adore. And yet, I think right now in the cockpit, right now as I'm saying this, I would take this over the Versys 650 or the vStrom 800 RE, even though performance-wise, and like what I was describing just there, those bikes can do, but this can't. Those bikes have got top-end horsepower, especially the vStrom. That's got quite a lovely amount of top-end horsepower. This bike doesn't. The Versys will drop off once you get past about 8,000 RPM. It will drop off, so there's kind of no point going beyond 8,000 RPM. But even so, you're still getting, at the top end of the range, you're still getting a nice little bump in performance. Whereas this bike, you're not. Once you get through the torque curve, the transition, by the way, between the torque and the horsepower is sublime on this bike. It's very predictable. It's not like you're going to get a huge jump in power at the top end of the RPMs. That's not the case with this bike whatsoever. But that's what it's missing, though. You know, that's what I enjoy, and that's what it's missing. But even so, even so, let's still take this bike. That's the thing. Like, feel-wise, this bike feels heavier. It doesn't feel quite as nimble as the Versys. Well, certainly not the Versys, but not the 800RE either. Even though the 800RE is roughly the same weight as this. It's not that far off, to be honest. So that's the thing, you guys. Like, what is it? Why would I take this? Okay, I mean, there are some things that are a bit more premium on this bike than on the vStrom and the Versys. The fact that it's got the cruise control here, you know, no-brainer. Adjustable suspension, which I believe on the Versys it doesn't have. On the vStrom, I can't remember if that's got adjustable suspension or not, on the RE at least anyway. The dashboard is brighter and arguably nicer to look at. The design is nicer. The windshield here is adjustable on the fly, which, like, when I was doing the vStrom review, I couldn't figure out if the windshield was adjustable or not on the fly. It didn't look like it to me. It looked like you had to undo some bolts to adjust it, but maybe not, because it did have a handle, didn't it? So maybe not. Maybe it was just the technique, or maybe the bolts were on a bit too tight, which is why I couldn't adjust it. But on this bike, yeah, you can adjust it up and down, which is nice that you can do on the fly. But this bike just feels more premium. That's the thing. It feels like a luxury bike that you're riding here, and even though you are paying more money for this than a vStrom, and significantly more than a Versys 650, it's worth it to me. And like 10 grand, it's not a lot. Not really, it's not a lot. But it is a lot in this class. There are plenty of options available in this class, in this midweight parallel twin class, that are cheaper and arguably make more sense from a financial perspective, bang for buck perspective. And even so, if I could stretch 10 grand, I would have this. 100%, no question. It's genuinely that good, you guys. It's just one of those bikes that has stolen my heart. And it's not giving it back. It's just, it hasn't got the performance, but it's got the character. And at least for the type of riding that I enjoy, this clicks with me. This bike just clicks with me. And you can still ride it like a hooligan. I love hooligan-like riding experiences, and even though this bike is meant to be quite a civilized motorcycle for the most part, you know, maybe it would attract the older rider more so than the younger rider. A younger rider, I think, actually would thoroughly enjoy this bike. It might not have the cool factor, but God, it's fun. This bike is missing a quick shifter, which I believe the vStrom actually has. I think the vStrom, if I remember correctly, does come with a quick shifter from stock. So that's a point in the vStrom's favour. Ah, my goodness. I swing it roundabouts, you guys. Because even though the Versys 650 and the vStrom are fantastic motorcycles in their own right, they're very, very good. I'd understand why anyone would buy one. I don't understand why I would buy this, but I still would. Yeah, man. Moto Guzzi, they have something special going on with these bikes. Genuinely. Not being able to turn off the rear ABS is one thing this bike can't do, unfortunately. But again, street riding, not a big deal. Not something really that you're going to care about, to be perfectly honest with you. But you have that flexibility on the vStrom. I mean, if you are worried about performance, you guys, this bike isn't slow either. It's not a slow motorcycle, it's just in comparison, it isn't as quick as the other bikes that we mentioned today. Simple as that. But it's got some power behind it, it's got some performance behind it. It's not like you're getting nothing. And I think that's probably why it strikes a good balance between performance and that character that I keep talking about. But it's genuinely the thing that's making the difference here, you guys. Now, even though looks wise it's totally subjective, looks and sound, again, I think this bike sounds the best. I think it looks the best between all of these bikes. But yeah, that's just a personal thing. And again, I'm not really into retro bikes either, not really, but the retro elements of this bike I think suit it very, very, very well. And even though it looks retro, it's not misplaced. It still looks good in a modern era of quirky looking bikes. It still holds up, which is why I'm not exactly that bothered by that. And if anything, I appreciate the way this bike looks more than the others, even though again I'm not into adventure bikes and I'm not into retro bikes. But yeah, this bike still looks good to me. Oh my god, town is absolutely rammed. What's going on? I suppose this kind of demonstrates the nimbleness of this bike, doesn't it? Gives you a bit of a demonstration of city rideability. But anyway, everybody, my GoPro here has just died on me, so I think we'll leave the video here. Thank you ever so much for joining us on our ride out today on the genuinely awesome Moto Guzzi V85 Strada. It's been one hell of a riding experience today. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm really sad to let this bike go. Like, I say that a lot about a lot of bikes, but this one, I don't want to let it go. Genuinely, it's been that great, you guys. It's been that fun and that enjoyable. So if you've enjoyed it and you know what I'm talking about, then please go ahead and leave that like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And we'll catch you all in the next video, everyone. You take care. You ride safe. Have a good one.